Alrighty, welcome. My name is Marisa Lopez with Elevation Corporate Health, and I will be doing a 30-minute webinar today on why cardio matters. Obviously, that means that I'm for cardio, but we're going to get into a little bit of the arguments of why it's good for you and a little bit of the confusion with it. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Where could it be? That's the one. Cool. Move this out of the way. All right. That's not the right one. Getting closer. All right. So I am the Assistant Fitness Manager at the Mojave Fitness Center. I also am a group fitness instructor and a certified personal trainer. And cardio is something that I think there's a lot of confusion surrounding, cardio and whether we should do it or whether we shouldn't do it and how much you should do. So I wanted to kind of clear the air with some of my personal experiences as well as just some science behind it. So cardio is anything that raises your heart rate and breathing rates and improves the function of your heart, lungs, and circulatory system. So many of us, when we think cardio, we think, oh, cardio, right? But it's really good for our hearts. It's really good for helping with, bone density and things like that. So we'll get into that a little bit more. With all the options and opinions out there, it's any wonder that people are confused as to how they should incorporate cardio into their workouts. So this is going to be especially, for weight loss. We see this a lot with weight loss clients. They automatically will only do cardio. So I've been a personal trainer for, about 7 years now. And that is the one thing I've heard a lot, especially from my weight loss clients is, okay, I'm only going to do cardio. I don't want to do weights. I'll focus on the weights later. Okay. So we've heard this. We've also heard, the opposite side of the spectrum where you have more of that bodybuilding client who says, you know what, you should never do cardio. Cardio is, you don't need it, that kind of thing. So we'll get into a little bit more when it comes to that, but that's just where the, some of the confusion kind of comes in. So my personal journey with cardio, I started as a runner when I first started to just get into fitness in my early 20s. I ran a lot. I was running usually 3 miles a day. And then, I was also doing group fitness classes. What I found was that I was running too much to the point where it was creating injuries in my body, and my knees quickly started to deteriorate. And luckily, I was able to stop the running, which was difficult, but that took away a lot of the issues I was having as far as my knees. And at one point I was limping home from a run, and that was the sign that I needed to do something else. So I did teach several cardio classes over the years in my fitness journey. At one point I taught 3 spin classes in a day. And yes, it kept me fit, and yes, I was very lean, but I was very burnt out, and I was, again, encountering a lot of injuries. I had switched to doing more cycling, so I was encountering more of the IT bands, sciatica, things like that, from just doing too much. So now my approach to cardio is a lot different. I have a very good understanding of how much I need and how much I don't need, and what kind of cardio I enjoy. And that kind of cardio is, again, running. However, I'm not planning to run a marathon anytime soon, and nor is that an aspiration of mine. I run because I enjoy it, and I don't run more than 3 or 4 miles at a time, because that's as much as I really find that it benefits me. After that, it just makes me hurt. So along with strength training and yoga, I've found a much more sustainable approach to how I see cardio. And we'll get into a little bit more about how cardio is something that I used to use as a punishment for overeating or, you know, compensating for a bad diet. So let's get into it. So the benefits of cardio. So it strengthens the most important muscle in the body, of course, your heart, your blood vessels. You're improving the flow of oxygen throughout your body. So if you're not one of those people that's like, I don't need to lose weight, I don't want to do cardio, right? There's still a good reason that you should do some cardio, right? It's for your heart. Lowering your blood pressure and cholesterol can be very, very beneficial, you know, so for some people along with medication. Regular cardio workouts can help offset sedentary lifestyle. We all know that this is a very true story in many of our lives. We are sitting in a chair right now, right? And we've probably been sitting in this chair for a while. So, you know, cardio is an easy way for us to just add more activity into our day that's purposeful. It burns fat and calories for weight loss. We'll get into a little bit more of the details on that, but for some people, it's a really great way to lose weight along with a healthy diet. It enhances sleep quality. So, you know, the concept of, you know, like an evening walk is a great way to get into a more transition into that kind of sleep system. Lower stress, for sure. For me, that is a big reason that I enjoy running, is because no matter what kind of day I'm having, once I go on a run, I feel a lot better and I feel less stressed, right? Along with yoga and strength training. It also expands your lung capacity. So, you know, you're able to, you know, uptake more oxygen in a better way. And it increases, of course, your bone density. So this one's very important, you know, and along with strength training, bone density is so important for aging adults. We, you know, if we don't work our muscles in weight-bearing exercises, right, our bones do get weaker, and then, you know, you get your likelihood of getting injured is going to increase drastically, right? So falling and things like that becomes a lot easier, and it's not good. So there is two systems in the body. We have the aerobic system, and then we have the anaerobic system. So with the aerobic system, think of this is your slow twitch muscle fibers, which just means that these muscles do not fatigue as quickly. You can go for an hour run on these muscles, and that's why you can keep going, right? However, you wouldn't sprint for an hour. If you did, you're crazy, right? And that's not good for you. In my opinion. The anaerobic system is it's without oxygen, and that just means that you're activating these fast twitch muscle fibers. So think sprinters, you know, people that have to move quickly in one direction. You know, a lot of football players use these systems, and a lot of sports incorporate a lot of fast twitch muscle fibers. They're short bouts of activity followed by periods of rest. Usually it's either a little bit more rest or about equal work. So aerobic versus anaerobic, a little bit more on that. So types of aerobic exercise can include cardio machines. A lot of us know these very well. In the gym or at home, we have these and we walk by them. Sometimes they become clothes hangers and things like that. Spinning classes are considered aerobic activity. Running, swimming, walking, hiking, aerobics classes, dancing, cross-country skiing, and kickboxing. And there are many other types. So as you can see, there's so many different types of cardio that you can choose from, you know, and it's important that you do choose something that you're gonna enjoy, or maybe you're the kind of person that likes trying new things, and that's cool too. So aerobic activity requires, again, the presence of oxygen. Like I said, it targets different types of muscle fibers. You're increasing your muscular endurance and capillary size. Your heart muscles to pump blood become more efficient. You can sustain for an extended period of time. Your heart rate is usually between 120 to 150 beats per minute during this activity. If you're going more than that, then you're usually getting into the anaerobic threshold, which is the next thing. So the type of anaerobic exercise include heavy weightlifting. Yes, when we think of weightlifting, we don't think cardio, right? But when it comes to anaerobic activity, it certainly can be weightlifting. Sprints, jumping rope, climbing hills, interval training, and isometrics. So it does not require presence of oxygen. These muscles fatigue a lot faster. Usually you're doing this kind of activity from anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute. After a minute, it gets pretty hard to maintain that. You exercise until you gas out. Oxygen builds up, lactic acid builds up, and you start to feel the burn. We all know this kind of feeling from high intensity and workouts like jump squats and jump lunges, right? You feel that burn, that's anaerobic activity. You can't sustain, again, this kind of activity for an extended period of time. As far as steady state and HIIT, so steady state, again, is more of the aerobic, HIIT is more of that anaerobic, okay? So answer to this question is not as simple as, as it sounds, okay? So there's many factors that we want to consider, and we'll be discussing them a little bit more here. How much cardio do I need? So again, it depends on your goals. I know this isn't popular to keep saying, but it depends on your goals and your lifestyle. So for general recommendations, according to the US Department of Health and Human Services, you should get at least 150 to 300 minutes of moderate intensity exercise, or 75 to 150 minutes a week of vigorous intensity aerobic exercise each week to see substantial changes, okay? So it also has to do with you playing with it, okay? So for me, my body responds better to moderate aerobic cardio and more high intensity sessions. I see more physique changes in my body from that kind of activity than from long runs, okay? However, I enjoy the running, so that's why I do them. But you could pick and choose which one you prefer. You just kind of wanna, if you're doing the high intensity stuff, it's gonna save a lot of time. So if you have a lifestyle where you're not able to get in an hour to work out, then maybe high intensity interval training is gonna be a good solution for you. Cardio intensity. So this just talks about what intensity that you should be working at. So if you want the fat burning effects of high intensity, but not the water retention, which can happen. And that's confusing for a lot of us when you do a high intensity workout and then you go weigh yourself and you're like, why do I weigh more? Right? So there's water retention that comes with that because you're stressed and the body retains water. So you can start with 10 to 20 minutes of intense all-out intervals and end with 10, 20 minutes of low intensity. So you can mix the two. If you're doing mostly full body workouts, or like, let's say you're doing like a bodybuilding routine, you're doing legs, and you're experiencing a lot of soreness in your muscles, then low, moderate cardio is probably going to be a smarter option for you to reduce the swelling and aid in recovery. So this is one that I found very beneficial, especially on those days where I'm just tired and I'm sore from weight training. I do that low moderate, I'll go on a moderate kind of run. So in addition, high intensity cardio is not to be overused, okay? But to be treated as a leg workout with only 1 or 2 days max. So you wanna think about HIIT as something that is done maybe 2-3 times a week, but it's done, when you do it with a lot of purpose and you do it properly. So if you feel you need to include more than 2 days of cardio, then that they can't all be high intensity, especially if you're lifting. There needs to be some downtime from intensity. So this is especially kind of steered towards weightlifting. So these are your heart rate zones, and your heart rate zones, as you age, right, the heart rate zone, your maximum heart rate decreases. Okay, so your heart gets weaker. So this is just an estimate of how to calculate your maximum heart rate, your target heart rate. Target heart rate zones are where you're going to be in the kind of cardio zone, and you're going to get the most benefit out of it. So in other words, if you're not working hard enough, right, then you're not going to get a lot of benefit from that cardio. And then same on the flip side, if you're working too hard, again, you can kind of have the opposite effect and go backwards. Another popular calculation is 220 minus your age as your maximum heart rate. So you can also kind of go by that. For steady state cardio, we're looking at anywhere from 30 to 90 minutes. Okay, when I say 90 minutes, usually, a lot of endurance athletes run for up to 90 minutes. I would not run 90 minutes just for fun. I've done a cycling class that was 90 minutes, and yes, it it killed me. But 90 minutes, we're talking more like hiking and things that, you know, you're not going to feel like, you know, you could go on a hike for 2 hours or an hour and a half. 65 to 75% of your maximum heart rate is a recommendation for the steady state cardio. This is your aerobic, okay? This is going to depend on the activity and duration, of course. Constant speed intensity. So monitor your heart rate or use RP to measure your intensity, okay? So nowadays we have, you know, smartwatches that tell us exactly what our heart rate is. So it makes it a lot easier to know where you're at. Or you can just use the scale of 1 to 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, am I feeling like I'm at a 10 when I should be at a 6 or 7 or 8? That kind of thing. So the benefits of steady state cardio are less stress on your body. So high intensity interval training can have more impact on the joints, right? And aerobic cardio, you can walk, you can bike, which is usually less impact, right? Running's a different story, it can be. More accessible for most people, so this can be done anywhere. You can walk around your neighborhood, right? You can go to the park. Effective for aging adults, so this is a great thing for people that haven't been working out for a long time and are trying to, you know, maybe their doctor says you have to start exercising. This is a good option for them to start with. When we start with training clients and they haven't been doing anything, we always recommend they build an aerobic base. This is what we're talking about, right? You can start doing this right away. And this is gonna help just get your body just ready for more volume, for weight training and things like that. Stronger heart, muscles, and bones, like I said, is good for weight loss with consistency and diet. Improves your digestion. So you'll notice after you go on a walk, you know, maybe after dinner, right? It kind of helps move things along. It's also great for your mental health, or can be great for your mental health if you enjoy it. Like I said, running is enjoyable meditation in motion for me. It's also, there's many options outdoors, so you can go to a park, right? You're out by the water, you can go on a swim. So there's just so many more options, and it's just easy. It's a family-friendly activity, I would say, as well. So for HIIT cardio, I got the guy with the battle ropes here. For HIIT cardio, we have cycles of intense exercise followed by shorter rest periods and rest or recovery. So you can either combine several exercises or just one exercise and use continuously for 15 to 20 minutes, okay? You've been to a high intensity interval class, right? We do this a lot. We either do, we usually combine a lot of different exercises in circuit style, and right at the end of that, you feel tired and you're drenched in sweat. So the benefits of this type of cardio are improving your cardio endurance, building lean muscle and dropping fat at the same time. It helps you to retain your muscle that you have. It can be done anywhere as well. So it can be done with just your body weight or different tools like you can see here. It helps increase your metabolism, right? And it's more efficient at doing that than just traditional cardio. The reason for that is that with aerobic cardio, you need more sessions to see that kind of effect. Varied workouts help with boredom. So HIIT cardio, there's more options. You can do so many different types of exercises. You can do jumping jacks, you could do jump rope, you could do burpees, which I know aren't fun for everyone, but there's just so many different options. It also takes less time than steady state. So you're only working for about 15 to 20 minutes and you are saving yourself a ton of time. So cardio for weight loss. For weight loss, you want to balance your weight training and cardio. So again, like I said at the beginning, many clients come to us and automatically just kind of want to focus on cardio, but the importance of incorporating strength training, it can be combined with cardio, is very beneficial for weight loss. Usually you're weight training anywhere from 2 to 3 days a week or more, depending on the level of the client. HIIT cardio can be spaced. I recommend 2 to 3 sessions a week, and make sure you're spacing those out plenty to prevent injury. Steady state, 3 to 4 times, sessions of 40 to 60 minutes, again, depending on the client, or just some of the general recommendations. It'll take some experimenting to see what works for your body, okay? So you're not gonna know overnight what works for you. you know, it is trial and error. Also, don't treat exercise as punishment. So cardio without a dedicated eating plan is a recipe for failure. Eat in a calorie deficit if you're trying to lose weight, rather than relying solely on your workouts to burn fat, which is exhausting, I will tell you. So does cardio burn muscle? So this has been going around for some time, and some factors to consider when we're talking about this is, yes, if you do too much cardio, yes, it can burn your muscle. You know, that's why we see some of these like marathon runners, and they're so skinny, right? You can see their muscle definition, but there's not a lot of mass to the muscle. So yes, that it can eat your muscle. If you're not eating enough and you're just doing way too much of it. It can be harder to gain muscle for sure if you're overdoing the cardio. HIIT can actually make you gain more muscle. So that's the nice thing about HIIT training is if you're trying to put on some muscle and shape the muscle a little bit better, you know, add a little more volume to the muscle, then HIIT is a better option. Cardio for muscle gain, hypertrophy. So with muscle gain, steady state, we see athletes do steady state, we see them do HIIT, you know, and the answer to that is yes, you can do both. Steady state is usually something that, you know, you want to do for 20 minutes either after your sessions. Some people like to do it separate from their weight training session if they have time to do that. I find that when I separate my cardio from my weight training, I see better results and I perform better during my weight training workout because then I'm not, you know, fatigued from the cardio. HIIT, again, 2 to 3 days a week can be extremely beneficial. Incorporating things that are gonna make you more athletic, like battle ropes, sprints, and circuits is definitely gonna help complement that muscle gain. Steady state, again, some people like it, some people don't like the HIIT cardio, so you can go that route instead. The whole point is you don't wanna completely neglect it. Again, because of the benefits to the heart, you know, some people do consider their strength training to be their cardio, and that is a controversial topic, but it just depends on what you're doing. If you're adding jump squats to your leg days, yeah, you're doing cardio, you know, so you did HIIT training in your leg day, essentially. You did cardio. So cardio for maintenance, again, if you're just looking to maintain your physique, you know, you're not going to have to work as hard, but you still want to, you know, maintain anywhere from 3 to 5 days of some kind of activity that's going to get your heart rate up, whether that be going on a jog or a walk, you know, things that are just going to help complement and keep your weight the same. And also just make sure that you're at your maintenance calories. Sometimes less is more. So you may not even need very much at all. It just depends on your metabolism and your body. You know, and all of us are different. Some of us tend to gain really easily as soon as we stop doing an activity. So if you're relying on something to maintain your weight and then you stop it, that's where you're going to encounter some issues. So make sure that whatever you decide to incorporate into your maintenance lifestyle fits your enjoyment. We'll talk about that a little bit more, and makes sense for your life. So how do you track progress? So again, your Fit watches are really good. I have a Garmin watch, and it is wonderful at tracking my miles and my heart rate, and it gives me a chart of my improvements and my progress, right? If you don't have anything like that, right, you just want to work on getting better, right? So VO2 max is something that my watch measures, basically just how much oxygen a person can use during difficult exercise. If you Google VO2 max calculator, it'll give you a bunch of different ways that you can measure it manually. It's also good to see, are you reducing not just the weight, maybe you're not trying to lose weight, but is your body fat being reduced, right? Technically, you know, body fat and cardio don't always correlate well together. When we weight train, we see body fat go down more than when we do cardio. So you might be able to, you know, if you're trying to lose weight with cardio and diet, right, it's just all about making sure that things are shrinking, you know, all together. So body fat, is your weight going down? Are you tracking your measurements? Are you taking pictures to see the difference? That kind of thing. Does it feel easier, right? If it's feeling harder, hopefully not, you do want to challenge yourself, and maybe, you know, if you're a runner and you know your 5K time is, you know, 40 minutes, right? And then the next time, you know, you test yourself again, your 5K time goes down to 35 minutes, then you've made improvements, right? That is progress. Longer distances, PRs, things like that. Like I said, smartwatches or journals are great to keep track of measurements or progress. You know, think about all those kinds of things that you could do. So these are just some cardio options and the calorie burn. You know, as you can see, a lot of these burn similar calories. Walking, of course, burns a little bit less than a lot of these, just because you're not exerting yourself as much. But for some people, walking is a fantastic form of cardio and really beneficial. And for some people, they enjoy walking. So I don't enjoy walking. I need something a little bit more, a little faster. I know I got to work on that probably, but I like having something that's going to make me sweat and that I'm going to, you know, enjoy. So these are just some calorie burn. Zumba class, 400 to 500 calories an hour, believe it or not. Zumba gets a lot of crap sometimes, but if you dance hard enough, you can burn a lot of calories. So again, enjoyment level, if you don't enjoy something, chances are you're not going to continue to do it. So what I recommend with cardio is find something you enjoy. And then also the effectiveness of it is, you know, is it making the progress that you are seeking? Okay, so if you start to look in the mirror and you don't like what you see and you've been doing, let's say you've been doing, you know, running and you're like, wow, you know, I don't like the way my body looks, right? Then maybe a different type of cardio would give you better results, right? For me, sometimes I do get that way as well. And I'm like, I need to do a little more HIIT because I like how HIIT makes my muscles pop a little bit more. Consistency is key, so try new things, but not every day. Try to stick to something for at least 4 to 8 weeks to track your results. Okay, so if you're always changing things up, always doing something different, right? Not always a bad thing, but if you're trying to really monitor how things are changing in your body, right, try to be consistent with it and monitor it. Cardio and fuel sources. So glycogen is the main source of energy. So some important things to know about cardio is that after 60 minutes of exercise, you want to replenish your glycogen stores. This can be an apple. This can be a banana, okay? Sugar gets taken from your muscles and your liver, and you need to, this is why we feel crappy after an hour of exercise, and we need, you know, sometimes people like start to get dizzy or sick. This is why. So along with that, also just find a safe activity you can do. So, you know, of course, safety first. If you're doing any outdoor activities, sure you're, you know, trying to go in the daytime, things like that. Buy a good pair of shoes, light colored clothes. If you do decide to run at night, a light or a LED vest. Always do a warm up and a cool down before your run or before your cardio. Okay, we always incorporate this into our HIIT classes. You should do the same for cardio. Maybe it's just starting with a walk and then integrating into a jog. You can also join a group fitness class, right? These are being held virtually a lot right now, but these are a great way to do cardio. If you're lacking motivation, maybe you're not enjoying what you're doing, or maybe you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. All the work is done for you. You know, you can do it with a friend. There's a good sense of community that you'll feel in that because everybody's working towards the same goal. So of course we have our Elevation Live and Elevation Station. Our Elevation Live classes, I teach a few of those. We have, again, anything from cardio to strength to yoga to spin classes. We have a lot of options on there if you're looking for some help with that. We also have our Elevation Station, which is our library of classes. And then some apps that I recommend are the Strava app. This is great for if you're walking, running, cycling. It will, you know, it monitors your run and the distance and things like that. So the Garmin watch, like I said, I really like. Some people like the Apple. I don't have an Apple Watch, but the Garmin I really like for tracking my data. Nike Run Club. If you need some like a coach, sorry guys, the dogs are barking me crazy. If you need like a coach for running, there's the Nike Run Club has like these these coach things that like coach you along as you're running and workouts. And then Map My Run is another one that you can use that's similar to Strava. So that is pretty much it. With cardio, you know, I think my main reason for wanting to do this is just to clear up some of the confusion and just really wanting people to understand that it's all about balance. And if you choose not to do cardio, it's not the end of the world. I do recommend that you incorporate it in maybe an unintentional way. So in maybe your daily life, maybe you're taking your kids on a bike ride or a run or whatever you're doing, right? It doesn't have to feel like it's exercise, in other words, right? But your body is meant to move, and cardio is a great way and a great option to incorporate more movement into your day. So I'll leave this, I'll kind of open this up to any questions right now. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. There we go. All right. So if there's no questions, then I hope you guys enjoyed the webinar. We'll be definitely doing more in the future, and I'll be posting this on our YouTube page. So if you didn't get to catch it live, you'll be able to watch it on YouTube. So thank you so much and have a good day.